Screw it, we are doing it live. We're gonna figure out any potential issues if they come up, when they come up. Just gonna drop my volume a little bit and check on the phone, I guess. We're gonna check if the stream is fine and live, because... Oh, and also open the chat, just in case. Okay. There's audio on the phone, that's great. Gonna switch it to live mode, and then wanna make sure the music is audible. Okay, sounds like the music is audible and it is less loud than I am, so that sounds great. Good start. Give me the chat. I'm gonna have it popped up here just in case. I think this is where we left off last time, perhaps. I'm not sure. I'm surely this is where we left off last time. Why wouldn't it be? Oh boy, let's a little bit of warm up, because I feel like if I go into there just willy-nilly, I'm gonna like explode. Someone's messaging me in Steam. I've gotta turn that off. Hold on, I don't know if this comes up on the overlay, but I hope it doesn't. Sorry, not your Steam, my Steam. I turned on do not disturb. Stream sounds good, that's great. Also, fun fact, the chat on YouTube is already broken. 1 minute and 40 seconds into the stream, the chat is already broken. Ow. Gooding. Man, this is a mental breakdown stream where we're gonna be going all the way schizo with this one, I guess. I don't know. Isn't everything great all the time? Oh man. You ever have those days where the absolute state of the world just kind of gets to you a little bit? Because that's basically what is happening. It's just, you know, everything's fucked. Not great. Wait, I forgot, we unlocked double jump last time. Yeah, that's the thing. And I think I also unlocked the dash? Oh yeah, I did. Okay. Sorry man, I do not remember. My memory is not very good. Whoops. They are in my walls. Yeah, indeed. The modernity is in my walls. This is true. You know... Okay, fucking let's get into it. So... You know what? The more I think about... Hold on, Flux has enabled itself. The more I think about like what the world, how the world works, and the sort of stuff I was talking about like last time, the more I am arriving. Have I been drinking? No, I have never drank any alcohol in my entire life. That is not a joke. That is literally true. Oh fuck, I already lost my train of thought. Bitch ass. It's great, it's great. So, okay, so the conclusion I've basically arrived at, or like the more I'm more and more convinced of, is that the difference between... The difference in will, in people of good will and people of bad will, is basically just fucking binary. There's no shades of grey to that. Like, there's no... It's just... Like, sorry mate, like, I don't really care what your circumstances of life are, you know? You are either actually good-willed and willing to improve, or you are probably a dipshit with a victim mentality who's going to just, you know, talk about how much of a victim you are all the time. It's fucking tiresome. That's what I have to say about that. Like, bro. What, how? How have I not drank? Well, there's this thing It's called. Okay, let me directly translate it. It's called the Crusade for the Freeing of Man. I don't know, Emancipation of Man. Emancipation has a bad connotation in my mind. But anyway, and basically the idea is that you give up drinking alcohol as a sacrifice for people who cannot do it themselves, who are addicted. That is the basic idea, and I've taken that up when I was 17, and that's what I'm continuing to do. That's how that has happened. Yeah, so the world is a fuck, and that's the thing, because you know I know what at least I usually get when I try and talk to people about these ideas and the kind of like these kinds of problems, is I usually get some variation of, you know, you should have you tried caring less? Have you tried not being so concerned about this? Have you tried like maybe thinking that it's not that big a deal? And the problem with that is that that doesn't in any way reset the problems. That doesn't invalidate any of the points. It's like, sure, okay, I could not care, perhaps, like I could not think about this too much, maybe, but like, are we gonna address the problems that this causes? Like that, you know, because it's all fun and games, you know, until there's like real world consequences to this stuff. Oh, hold on, I'm down there. It's like all fun and games, you know, until you think about, oh, I want to build like a home and I want to build a family. That's the problem. Not caring is the fix. Yeah, that's basically what I mean. It's, you know, you look at the world, right, and it's like, it's blatantly obvious that the context in which you live has a tremendous influence on you. Like that's surely a given, right? That's like the only people that would argue against that are, I suppose, like completely rabid libertarians who like believe that. Like, are they even? I don't even know if they truly believe that, because that seems so ridiculously stupid. So, and I realized, like, okay, you know, I have I have a lot of control over my own life, but then, you know, the further away kind of someone is from me, the less influence I have at all. And then I realized that if I want to have influence, you know, if I believe that something is right and I want to have that influence over the world to steer it in a direction I believe is right, like I can't be alone. I can't be the only guy saying that, because the only guy saying that is easily, you know, silenced with some variation of that stuff. Like, you know, you should, have you considered like not caring as much? Have you considered that maybe you were just making a big deal out of nothing? Stuff like that. I can't be one guy, but then every institution and like every fucking thing I go to around me and I look at is like, people have completely fucked up. Like, nobody gives a shit. Nobody puts in the effort. Nobody's even willing to entertain putting in the effort as like a talking point, much less actually doing something. And you land with that and you realize, bro, we are fucked. I'm sorry to be such a downer, because it's not, don't take this as my I am giving up speech, because I'm not. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous how decadent everything fucking is. How does this affect you personally? Yep. Attempt to rid you of your drive to can do. Yep. Absolutely. And problems are largely stemming from people not minding their own business. Your problem is someone else's fix, and your fix will be someone else's problem. I don't agree I believe we are in the place we are currently because exactly the idea that, you know, this is just your problem. Like, you know, you do you, buddy. Like, actually, no. Not really, no. Now, this easily, you know, this easily gets into, like, legislation or whatever, and that's not that is not what I mean. I'm not talking about what should be enshrined in law and, you know, forced into people at gunpoint. That's none of that. That's not the idea. I don't believe that using the government to just point guns at people who disagree is any kind of solution. But the problems are nonetheless real. And if you have a society of everyone just concerned with whatever the fuck they are doing at the moment, then, like, how do you want to build a family? How do you want to build a community? How do you want to accomplish things greater than yourself if everybody's minding their own business? Because, like, as soon as you want to do something together, you have to have a degree of minding more than your own business, because your own business is now the business of multiple people. And then, you know, from that we easily get to, well, actually, you know, whatever goes on in my country is absolutely my business. And it is the business of not just me, but, like, you know, people in my family. And if I wanna have a future family, then all of those people as well is their business too. And, you know, to use the most overused phrase ever, we do live in a society. I'll have you know. And it just, you can't just say that none of this matters. I don't buy that. I'm not saying that, I'm saying we are here because a lot of people in the position said this is the solution. No, but isn't, like, all of leftism basically like working upon the idea of mind your own business, and how does that affect you personally? And, you know, you shouldn't give a shit about what other people do. And in fact, you should. They go even further than that, because they go to the extreme of you should only care about what other people do to the degree to which you can actually affirm it. So they have, like, the approach of not just you do whatever the hell you want, but also, you know, everybody else has to validate whatever the hell you chose to do. Is basically the position. Does this frog respawn because I messed up? Okay, we're gonna make our own path here. It's like, I don't, you know, because okay, back to the point of, oh shit, I shouldn't have killed this guy. Back to the point of legislation, right? None of what I'm trying to talk about is legislation and anybody like being forced to do anything in particular, because that's not the point. There's a lot of things that just need to be done voluntarily. People need to believe in the values and do things because of that belief. You do you as long as it's exactly what I do. No, it's like, it's you do you, but you do you in the... You do you as long as, well... It's like, okay, isn't that everything besides extreme libertarianism? Is you do whatever you want to do, as long as it is not, you know, as long as I approve of it? Isn't that basically everything? Can we, like, at all, in any way, exist in a society where it's literally do whatever the fuck you want? Because I don't buy that. I don't believe that. I don't see that working out. It's like, you know, if you are like a coalition of one and you take no compromises, and, you know, you are yourself and yourself only, and nobody gets to tell you what to do, then how do you actually, like, expand your ability to do things beyond what you can do with your own two hands, and then maybe with the people you know directly? How do you go beyond that? is it like possible in any way to go beyond that like basic level of influence? Like you can convince people, maybe you can, I don't know, you can pay them off, I guess? Can you? I missed one. Unfortunately. There we go. Do what thou wilt is the primary tenet of Satanism. It's almost like political extremes don't make stable governments. But, you know, that kind of goes back to the tweet I got mad at, like, yesterday or today, I can't remember. Where you've got, like, referring to normalcy as in, like, what is commonly accepted by society at large. And then what is extreme? How do we... Like, okay, sure. I understand the idea, once again, right? I understand the idea. There's things that are really, you know, out there on the fringe, whatever, but what is on the fringe depends on the state of things, and the state of things currently is just absolutely fucked. So then, wouldn't not fuck be an extreme when everything's fucked, you know? Is the idea I'm trying to get at with that is, you know, it's just not... It's... You can't base what you think and what you do on whatever the majority agrees is not too extreme, because then you are vulnerable to just, you know, the Overton window shifting, effectively. If the Overton window shifts so that what you believed is now extreme, which is what has happened in the West, then it's like, you know, goodbye, I guess. When I use extreme in a political sense, I usually mean taking the logical endpoint of a philosophy. But then... Now, on one hand, I understand you wanna... You know, you don't want to get lost in an ideology. You wanna make sure that, you know, you don't... Because that's the problem, what happens with communism, right, and communists. You get people so completely like, enamored with an ideology, they are willing to do whatever the hell. They are willing to basically kill millions of people because that's how they get to the logical endpoint of their philosophy. But precisely because when you take that ideology or philosophy to its logical conclusion, it arrives at that is what makes it a bad philosophy. It's like, are you advocating that we shouldn't, you know, we shouldn't take our philosophies to their logical extremes? Or like logical endpoints? Because to me it seems like you absolutely should, you know. That's like the primary thing you want to do. It's like whenever you come up with anything, you want to take that to the logical extreme and see if it still works and applies. And then I'm also not advocating for any sort of, you know, theory of everything, ultimate political system or whatever other kind of system for every purpose ever, because that's over abstraction, that's retarded. You can't make it. So that is already like a limiter on what the philosophy can be. I don't... But there will be war. It's like, I mean, that's the thing though, it's like the one way to avoid a war is to just give up immediately. And listen, I don't want to fight a war, right? That's the thing, like, especially, well, I don't want violence, right? I don't want that. I'd much rather every other solution that doesn't compromise the values, that isn't violence. So that's what I'm looking for, right? That's what I'm doing. But some of these days it's so fucking bleak, man. Yeah, that... Giving up what political zealots are known for. Political zealots are not known for giving up, but... You know that quote about, like, all that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing, right? It's... I think you could easily expand it into, you know, all that is required for evil to triumph is for good men to just grift away forever. It's like... It's like, what do you mean by do nothing? It's like, do nothing, like, oh yeah, but bro, they are like breathing and such, lol. All throw in all the stuff with, that Don normally gets with the do something, do anything. Whoops. Yeah, that's what I get for paying no attention. It's like, you know what? But then, again, what makes a good man? Is it not the fact that, you know, for good men to do nothing? It's like, is it not that the good men doing nothing makes them not good men anymore? It's like, sorry, it's harsh, right? It's harsh because you would normally consider some people good people, absolutely. It's like, you know, oh yeah, he's, you know, he's got a family, he's doing all that is like socially acceptable and correct to do with his children and whatnot, right? It's, you get that all the time, but then it's like, are you really gonna call that man not a good man? It's like, I don't know. Probably depends on the circumstance, but then it's like, the world's fucked. It's like, do we really consider that, you know, everybody was just really good and then the world got fucked for no reason at all? Like, nothing happened. There were no problems. It just happened to go to shit. Just like that. Violence has been the story of history for time immemorial. This season of relatively little violence is a blip in comparison to the entirety of the human race. I mean, maybe. I mean, yeah, that's... Actually, no, that's just true. Yeah, you know, it's like not really anything exciting ahead with regards to that. Another blip for self-violence, though, killing ourselves in record numbers. I mean, yeah, I suppose. But it's the coward's way out, isn't it? You don't confront any issues, you just, you know, you end yourself. Harsh, perhaps, again. Definitely. I don't even mean to, like, say anything particularly harsh about people who go out that way, but still, man. It's like... I don't know, that's like another thing, right? You've got people... It's classic, okay, there's the aspect of like depression and suicide that is, you know, there's something wrong with your head in some way. There's, okay, I don't know. I've heard that's debunked, I don't know. Granted, I can accept that you can be in a state that, you know, that makes it way harder for you to do basically anything. Okay, sure, but then the will and the choice of whether you want to fight it and get out of it and or live with it in some way, or if you want to just give up, lay on the floor and say to everybody how oppressed you are by reality. It's like that's still a choice. That's a binary choice. It's either one or the other. Like, surely. Like, that's the choice of the direction you want to go with it, and then your state, you know, your state is what it is. But then if you wanna, you know, if you wanna work it out from the state you are in, and you have a direction, well, I can work with you, right? I can work with you basically regardless of what your state is, you know, or we can in some way get to an agreement, get to some kind of cooperation if you want to be honest about it and declare and, you know, and then go through with improvement. But then if your state is like, let's say you're well off and whatever the hell, but your choice is just to complain about everything and do nothing, then, you know, then what can I do? What can I do about that? Like, so, you know, spiritual warfare, there you go, that's the term. You know, it's like, what's the difference? The difference is spiritual, effectively. Because it's in the realm of your will, of your decisions, you know, of your values, stuff like that. There will be war because of the nature of philosophies competing in full force, but you may be right in that the wars need to happen for a stable society to rise. I mean... FR, which I assume is for real. It's surely not the shortcut for France, right? France, depression sucks. Satan says. What gets me through rough times is remembering permanent solution to temporary problem. The math won't add up for me. Yeah. You know, I can sympathize. Like, I can. To an extent. I don't think I've ever been in that state, like all the way there. Even though, like, through any rough patches, I don't think I've been all the way there, but... It sucks, right? It sucks, but does it mean, like, you now get to lay down on the floor and do... Because that's the alternative to this. Like, okay, if you don't wanna, you know, if you don't wanna go with this line about depression, well, what's the alternative? It's either you just shut up and say nothing to those people, or you go and affirm. It's like, no, yeah, you are really, you know, you are really tired. You don't have any energy. You should just lay down in bed and you know, maybe gamble for a little bit as entertainment. Have another drink. Have another line of coke. You know, stuff like that. It's like, what's the alternative? Surely you don't want to say that to fucking people. It's like, yeah, that's and it's harsh, and it's harsh, and it's unpleasant, and like, there's no pleasure in saying all of this. But you know, if nobody like brings these things up and they don't come out and they are not discussed, then the default is that you exactly the just leave people alone style of thing. It's like, oh yeah, it sucks, right? It's like, you ever think about how, you know, you look online or wherever and like so many memes are just about people having no will to live and having trouble getting out of bed all the time. And like nobody, you know, oh yeah, I'm directionless, I don't know what to do, life is horrible, and the black void and whatever. It's like, think about it, maybe like people, this is not normal, and again, normal, it's like, this is not good, is what I actually mean to say. This is not good. We should, you should do something about it, right? But it's so normalized. It's so normalized. It's like completely expected that, haha, Lamao, isn't it relatable? Relatable, isn't it? That, you know, I have depression and I can't do anything and I can't get out of bed. Isn't this relatable, people? It's like, bro, that's weird. Really weird. If not completely fucked, which is what I actually mean by weird. It's like, this shouldn't, it shouldn't be like this. That's not how you should be. And then, you know, within the realm of like actually solving any of those problems, it's, I cannot be solving these problems for anybody else. So I'm having a hard enough time trying to figure out my own way through life, right? And I'm under no like responsibility to get anyone through it. I'm happy to help. I'm like, I actively put an effort and try my best to you know, to keep the spirits high and such. To like help people with whatever, whenever I can, I try to help people and such, but like there's a limit to that. You know, I am willing to do a lot, if you have the will. But then if you show that you don't, then that's a very quick, you know, that for me that's a very quick way to just like, well, what the fuck do I do now, right? Like, what do I do with you? And then you've got a whole another level of problems with this, where you want to like talk about any of that, and then you realize that there's basically no people around to talk about this stuff with to this like level of to this level of depth, because the ideas I'm expressing, I realize they are like controversial and inflammatory in many ways, but then it's like, okay, I can, you know, I can just avoid these topics, and then like, what? How do I get these ideas sorted? How do I, you know, properly figure out what to think about all these issues if I decide to just not talk about this because it's like, because people find it hurtful or whatever when you actually mention them? It's like, no, man, and that's going back to the we are fucked kind of angle, because at the end of the day, it's bad. Like, it's bad. Like, leaving it in the state it is in is bad. So then... And then a lot of people kind of just stay with that, because it's like, yeah, sure, it's bad, but can you imagine how much worse we could make it? We could maybe make it if we try and it fails. And I'm basically of the opinion that it's like, no, you gotta try. It's like with, I was talking about overthinking last time. It's like with overthinking, the case of overthinking where you are actually just, you know, saying you are overthinking to excuse not thinking about something. Is you really should actually go through. You really should actually go through and think it through and go to a conclusion that is actually worthy and good. It's like same here. It's we can't just leave all of these issues at we can't leave all of these issues at, you know, just don't talk about them because you're just gonna make things worse, or like that's not a problem, or you should stop caring. It's like, no, you motherfuckers, everything's fucked. I've literally offered to talk to you about this on the regular. I gotta pick you up on the offer. I don't know why I didn't. You wanna, fuck it, we are gonna organize a fucking pleb discussion circle and we're gonna talk about this shit, because I'm gonna go insane otherwise. I think it's a product of Western cultures largely operating under what is essentially neo-feudalism, except with corporations instead of landlords and no job security. I mean, I think it's like this, surely it's a cause intertwined with a, like it's a cause intertwined with a, it's a description of how it is. Damn it, how do I phrase this? It's like, it's the cause intertwined with the effect, I think, is kind of like that. Because... And that brings up all sorts of like... Oh! Okay, that was almost very bad. I think you meant to add without preaching to the choir. Not really, that's the thing about the I think the binary nature of the choice is that I think most people that do get it, in a way, like a feedback loop, it's to even talk about this, and you know, it's like if you look in the On Topic Autism channel, like even amongst people who mostly agree on this stuff, we've had some disagreement on the details, and we've had and we've had a bunch of talk about how to phrase it more properly, or maybe approaching the stuff from a different angle, that helps a lot. Even still, because that's the thing, it's like these things you can't... to be fair, we are autistic, true. Because to be fair, you can't really... Oh, I forgot to jump, whoops. You can't really bring these topics up to people who don't have the will to actually interrogate them properly, because they're just gonna... it's just going to be the same kind of response of just like, why think about this, or like, oh well, let's change the topic because I don't find this one like comfortable, effectively. Some variation of that. Hello, welcome. You have currently joined the schizo rambling session. We are talking about everything being fucked all the time. I hope you enjoy your stay in the padded room. You just get that fluoride stir back. It's, you know, it's, I just don't buy any of it anymore. It's like I don't buy that, you know, you can't talk about it. I don't buy that, you know, it's like there's no way to think about it. I don't buy any of that. There's ways to talk. There's ways to talk. We can take it slow. We can take breaks if you need. We can avoid certain words if there's problems to you. What's the game? It looks beautiful. Yeah, it is Ori and the Blind Forest. Gigantic recommend. This game is gorgeous. Like everywhere you go, it's beautiful. The music's beautiful. The gameplay's great. There's like nothing to dislike about this game. It's so good. It's lovely. And you know, there's a question. It's like, okay, if you live in a society where like the vast majority of people don't wanna bother, it's like, are we just, you know, surely that's another like cause and effect intertwined. It's like, surely we are there because society is fucked, and society is fucked because we are there, because people don't want to bother. The problem I run into is there's so much crap to explain to even get to this topic that people immediately lose interest. I mean, but that's another thing. It's like, what does it say about the people that have lost interest partway through, right? Because if you truly are inquisitive and truly want to find out, and you have someone who is willing to talk and is willing to get down to it, like, then surely you are going to put in the effort, or you are gonna like split it into chunks or whatever. And that is also like, none of that is hard to do physically in any way. Like, it's not hard to do, it's not hard to implement, it's not even hard to think about, as long as you actually have the will, as long as you're willing to actually do it, go through with it, talk about it. But if you don't, then any excuse is good. Oh, it's too long, bro, TLDR, whoa, bro, a wall of text, oh no. Oh, bro's yapping, or whatever the hell the newest Zoomer meme about that is. It's like, you're taking too long, where's the Subway Surfers gameplay? I can't listen to your argument unless there's Subway Surfers gameplay. There's no point. It's the same issue with people saying, it's like, oh no, wait, bro, you presented your argument badly. It's like, you see this on a comment section. It's like, bro, you maybe have some good points, but you know, the angry tone of your video is making people less likely to listen to it. It's like, I'm not even convinced that's real. I'm not convinced, because if someone is actually willing to listen, and it's like, sure, maybe it would be easier if the tone wasn't angry, maybe. I'm not even convinced, but you're still gonna be able to listen to it. You will still actually engage with the arguments, almost regardless of how they are presented, because you are gonna take on the responsibility of listening to the message and actually extracting the meaning out yourself. Because that's what responsible people do when they want to communicate. And then irresponsible people will find any way to blame it on your, your communication not being perfect, and then use that as an excuse to do nothing of what you're talking about. You know? Big mad. The cross-section of people who are willing to acknowledge the current problems and people who live by me is 0. Man. Oh man, do be like that. Feels like that. I mean, seems like that. We're trying to do something about it, but it's like, even people who you would think would be the closest, in like whatever like religious organizations or anything like that, it never goes beyond surface level and just platitudes and some sort of like default talk that has no meaning anymore because everybody's just been repeating it without thinking. Pardon, I've decided to inhale the tea instead of drinking it. Simple solution. Base whenever you choose to live on how many rampant cars the local groceries parking lot has. I mean, but that's the other side of it. It's like if you buy that about the shopping cart, then it almost feels like people take that and do it as in, oh, you know, I've returned the shopping cart, everything's fine, I'm Gucci, you know, I've done what I could, I've done what I should, I've done my duty, you know, and now can you leave me alone and piss off? And like, that attitude is wrong in the first place. It's not the correct attitude, because the correct attitude isn't, you know, I've done the bare minimum, can you now fuck off? That's not... Why would you want anything to be like that? You guys often have conversations like this? Perhaps. I don't know, I don't usually get this angry about this stuff, but the conversational topics come up. You know, because I don't have a stream schedule, I just stream whenever I want to rant. So that's kind of how I go about these. Because I get mad about whatever the hell is going on, about everything being bad and wrong all the time. And it just flows from, let the anger flow through you. Great. Where are you from? I'm from the sweet motherland of Poland. Hello. Country reveal. Yeah. You would think in a Catholic country you wouldn't have these problems, right? Wrong. Exact same problems, just less advanced. It's you know, everything's gonna be... And it doesn't even matter what the outer cover for it is, because you could have a superficially whatever the hell cover on top of that, and it wouldn't matter, because it's the same problem with people, regardless of if they, you know, it's like, it's the same problem I have with like return to tradition. It's, oh sure, you're gonna return to tradition, what does it mean? It's like you are already complaining that you are doing all the traditional rituals and you feel nothing and it feels empty. It's like, do you think that's gonna change when everybody does it? You think we're just gonna gaslight each other into thinking, ah yes, this has actually deep meaning, we just, yeah, sure bro, we all feel it, right? Yeah, we totally do. Yeah, look at that, we totally feel it. Like, that's not gonna work, buddy. Because there's a reason why those things wear what they wear. There's a reason for that. And if you've lost the reason, then it doesn't really matter if you maintain the act. The only thing that matters if you maintain the act is if you get back to the feeling and you already have the act ready, then you can just pick it back up more easily. So in that case, in that way, it is better to actually maintain the tradition of like the traditional actions, but it must be also tied to actually understanding what the hell was behind all those. It's like, why were we doing that? Because otherwise you end up with just completely dead traditions, and then you end up with an orthodoxy that can't be questioned, but it and then you end up with the next generation of people who show up, question it, get told to fuck off, and then they listen, they fuck off, and then the tradition is dead. Congratulations, you've really prolonged it for a while, right? Yeah, cool. Awesome. Good work. You really have done it. The point is, the mindset that even considers returning it in the first place, socially coerced or not, indicates a base level ability to self-govern and follow implied rules, and not just rules backed by the threat of force. I don't think the idea of following rules is enough. Like, it's not enough. It is not enough for you to just follow rules. And that's, I do believe that's basically the main point that Jesus has made in the Bible. If you wanna go that direction with it, it's like he shows up to the Jews and he's like, hey guys, you know, all of this stuff, you've taken like all these rules, and instead of taking the spirit of them, you've hyper fixated on the letter, and now you're doing goofy shit to justify whatever the hell you are doing, or you want to do anyway, because it fits the letter. It's like, no, you know, again, it's not the mindset of do the bare minimum and fuck off. It's the mindset of, you know, how can I make things good actively? It's not society. It's not about a society of people who like all, you know, oh yeah, we find the absolute bare minimum of harm reduction effectively. No, it's proactive good. It's a completely different like conversation and level of concern about things. It's not just, you know, oh, we just need people to not do A, B, or C. Because you'll then get people who like, there will be workarounds, there will be people who will, sure, I'll conform to that, I'll fuck up 5 other things, and you're gonna arrive at the exact same end state anyway. So, object lesson incoming. I'm taking apart my chainsaw to fix it. Need a deep Torx or flathead screwdriver. Don't have one, took one of my screwdrivers to the bench grinder to grind down the handle. Chainsaw is now apart. Burn the dead wood. Yep. I think it's something you learn when you have to do things, it's like a lesson you get when you have to do things and there's nobody, you know, there's no like mummy or daddy to come and rescue you. There's no hand holding, there's no other people to drop this on so they have to deal with it. You just have to it's you, there's a problem to be solved, and you have your 2 hands, you have your brain, and you have whatever the hell is laying around you to solve it. And that could be physical, it could be, you know, it could be whatever. I've had basically the same situation in computing, in like writing programs. It's more abstract, but the same idea is there, right? It's like you end up with a problem where you can't actually, there's nobody else, there's nothing else, it's just you, it's the problem, there's the problem to solve, and you know, it's entirely on you whether you solve it or not. And then you do whatever the hell you do whatever the hell works, and the standard is that it is supposed to work. And if it stops working after a while, you do the same process and you figure it out. If you figure it out again. And why? Because there's a goal. There's a goal you're working towards. You're working towards a goal. You have a goal in mind. And then, you know, it doesn't matter that there's a problem. Well, there's a problem. Well, we fix the problem. Or we work around the problem. Or we fucking smash our head into the problem until it's done. And, you know, it's like, there's basically never a situation where something is, like, entirely impossible to do. It's either a matter of time, a matter of, like, perseverance. You can solve it in some way. And it's just a matter of time until you do, if you have the will, once again. This conversation is too hard for my English. Apologies. But I am gonna continue. Nice snipe. I'm gonna continue speaking in English. Sorry. Have a good day. Have a good night, I guess, because if you are gonna go. It's not, but that's all the card theory addresses. It's like, yeah, the card theory, that's why I'm saying that I think that's not enough. It's like, yeah, it's a test, you know, you can, but it's like, just because people are returning cards, it doesn't mean that, you know, everything is alright, or even it's good. That's kind of the point I'm getting at with this. Fuck it, it worked. Every man at some point in their lives. I mean, right, because you then understand. It's like you understand what things you have to do, and they have to hold for a certain amount of time, and you have to kind of do them properly in order to actually satisfy that requirement. And you understand you understand where there's a requirement that needs to be fulfilled, and part of the requirement is time, and you or like some kind of resource, and you don't, you don't quote unquote do it properly, because that's not the point, that's not the goal. And that's where academics get this fucking wrong all the time, because they hyper focus on some kind of like proper, right, whatever the hell way that is abstractly the most correctest, and then they get completely lost in that. And I have a tendency to do it as well, absolutely, to be turbo pedantic, to find like, oh, this doesn't feel right, and I have to contain that to an extent, because we work in reality and whatnot. But it's you work with what you have. You have respect for what you have and for what you work with, because at the end of the day, you produce solutions for reality and not for some abstract bullshit that you don't know what the hell is the point of it even is. Oh, the chat on the phone broke for as a nice change of pace. It's a starting point. It says they can follow rules, a step up from somewhere lawless. Doesn't say whether the rules are dumb as shit or not, like Portland. I mean, yeah, I grant you that it is a test, but then there's a big and important difference whether you follow rules, because there's an important difference to whether you follow rules because you are kind of forced to by society, and between where you are, you are following the rules. What? And between when you are following the rules because it's the right thing to do, and it's the right thing to do, and in fact you actually are doing way more than following the rules, because you know what is important, and you know why, and you know what is good. And a society of people who understand the spirit and live by the spirit can handle a certain amount of people who do not, who just follow the rules because that's what's incentivized. But then the more you kind of bleed off the people who actually know why and take it, and act from the spirit and from the idea. At my spacebar input got eaten. That's unfortunate. The more you bleed off the people who do it because they understand the spirit, agree with it, and wanna fulfill it, and like wanna actually do it in their lives. Damn it, I lost my train of thought with that. It's like that, yeah, the more people you bleed off, the less you can actually, the more of a problem each person that just follows the rules because it's incentivized is. And that, that's not to take away the importance of incentives even for people who understand the spirit and work, because it's like a... I don't know if I'm gonna use this correctly, but like there's the metaphor of like the Swiss cheese, right? That you have like each layer of safety or whatever is like a slice of Swiss cheese, and has some holes, and you lose. That's probably not the correct metaphor, but the idea is like with each disincentive for doing good, or with each disincentive and lack of incentive for doing good, you bleed off some of the people who would have normally done good. You bleed them off, and then eventually you get to the point where you've bled off all but the most dedicated of people who have had other people in their lives kind of substitute what would normally be provided by the society. And then these people have a very hard task ahead of them. Let me join stream via Discord. Alts incoming. Absolutely, let's do it. Let's hit it. I'm calling you. There you go. Boom. Hello. Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yes, indeed. I'm gonna hold on. Let me just make sure, because you're gonna be on desktop audio as well as the game, and I don't want to have.
Okay.
I want to make sure. Okay, just let me know if it sounds good on the stream, because. Okay, say something. I'm gonna look at the levels in OBS.
But then I'm gonna look at the levels in OBS.
That's pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna turn down the volume of the game a bunch. Is it like a master volume? That isn't. So music volume and sound effects, drop it all the way down, bring up the desktop audio a little bit. There we go. Great. Let's do the autism. I am ready.
Okay, we're doing autism.
Absolutely.
So,
Finally.
We were talking. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No. Sorry.
Yep. So we were talking about the spirit of the law, or understanding the spirit. And in the charismatic world, we talk about like knowing the Spirit, knowing Holy Spirit, being able to sort of commune with Holy Spirit in particular, since Christ gave us Holy Spirit after he left, right?
Yep.
Okay. I had like I was working on my chainsaw, and I had this like sort of thing click on my mind. Like, we talk about the concept of the spirit of the law, right?
Yep.
Okay. The concept of the spirit of the law, just to make sure that you and I are on the same page, is that whatever it is that you do to try to obey the law, that there is an intention that is sort of universally understood behind the law, and to try to follow the intention, even if the letter of the law doesn't directly and perfectly convey that intention. Is that a fair summation of spirit of the law?
Yep, because that's not just law. That's like basically communication, or like whatever information exchange between people is like this. It's like either you are a pedant who's just stuck to whatever literally was said, or you actually get at the meaning that the other person has in their head and is trying to convey to you, right? Like that's understanding the spirit behind the letter. Yeah. Right.
And so what that made me think of was understanding Holy Spirit, and understanding, like, Jesus, first God gave us the law through Moses, then Jesus came and didn't abolish the law, but fulfilled the law, and then gave us something afterwards to represent his covenant, right?
Yes.
Okay. That being the Holy Spirit. So that made that correlation in my mind between the spirit of the law and the Holy Spirit, as in.
Yeah, I think that's. I think I get what you're getting at. I think I understand that. Like, yeah, I think that seems to me to be like exactly the point. It's, it's like you act from the Holy Spirit, like, and with the Holy Spirit, right?
Right.
It's
right. Like it's a. I've heard Christians go, oh, if you have grace under the law, or under through Christ's new covenant, doesn't that grace effectively give you a license to sin? And that's true if you don't treat the new covenant as a higher standard, right? And Christ represents that in the Gospels. So,
because God is effectively inviting you to do what He wants you to do at the particular moment, right? It's like, that's like, mate, talk to me, and I'll tell you what to do. It's effectively, this is like a quote from the Bible, basically.
Basically, yeah. And the part about it being Holy Spirit is that that's kind of the situation that we're discussing to some degree. I might be over abstracting it, so forgive me. But what you end up with is people who are trying to rules lawyer their way through life and society and all this kind of stuff. And, well, does it affect you personally,
Yeah, it's like
that sort of
technically,
shenanigans.
like, does it really? Like, what if you just do it behind closed doors and like you don't have to know about it? You can turn the other way, whatever. Doesn't matter.
Right.
Well,
And they're obfuscating the intention of the law and the society that we've created and its principles, right?
yep.
And so through that, you're dealing with people who specifically are trying to avoid the Holy Spirit, like in a
Yep.
sort of a roundabout certain way, like it's
They don't
specifically in
name it that
America.
way.
Forgive me, right? But specifically in America, like they say, these rules or these laws are given to a moral and just people. That requires knowing the Holy Spirit, right?
Yeah,
And
that's what
so,
moral and just. That's what I believe that quote refers to. Is that, you know, these rules are basically how we laid it out because we have
Yep.
those shared values and shared ideas. That's the law we have laid out. So that's like an implementation in reality. And then, like, to me, it's obvious that it's not the idea that this letter and this particular phrasing is like forever and it's gonna be everlasting and it's always gonna be exactly like this, because
right.
the spirit is what is important. And because, you know, it's like, what does it mean to have a civilization that is based on Christianity, right? On that is a civilization that is based on God and the rules he gave, right? And then
Yeah.
is it based on the rules as like literally the words as written? And then if we can, you know, if we can Jew around the rules a little bit, then, you know, it's not a problem.
Oh, that's so funny, considering what memes have been in the memes channel recently about like, no, what was it? Was it memes channel or was it? I forget.
I
Was
don't
it? It might have
remember.
been autistic pattern recognition. But
I don't think I'm in that
there
one.
was a bunch. Well, there was a bunch of memes recently that were people talking about like, oh, you can't turn on a light, you know, during Sabbath or whatever. Well, you can turn this little thing that uncovers a light instead of
Yeah.
turning the light on. It's like
It's
the
like that
literal
stupid
definition of
shit
doing
where they
around the
have like
rules.
they have like a little piece of string around a district in New York or whatever.
Yes, yes,
It's like, oh yeah, no, this is technically our home, so we can do whatever the hell we want in here, right? It's like,
right.
do you really think that God is like that God doesn't know what you're doing?
Right. I'm gonna try to rules lawyer God. Yes, this was gonna go very well.
I mean,
Anyway,
they went
I
all the
just
way
wanted
with
to.
that.
I mostly, yeah, I mostly wanted to share my sort of the revelation of like correlating the spirit of the law with Holy Spirit, because I think that
Yeah, I think
that's
that's
kind of indicative of what's
yeah.
going on.
I think that yeah, I think that's really accurate for this, because it's like that's the thing. I think that people generally are really allergic to trying. Oh my! I should miss this. I gotta replace the spacebar or something in this keyboard. Like, it seems like people are really allergic to trying to actually define and like in some way evaluate these things. It's, you know, it would be very harsh to actually say, it's like, mate, I don't think there's any Holy Spirit in there in what you're doing.
Oh man.
Because by the fruits, right? It's like, I see what I see what this is turning out, and that's not good. This is like nowhere near what is described as the fruit of the Holy Spirit. So then
Totally.
it's like, well, can you say that to people? Or they say, and I'm more and more, I'm just getting to the point. It's like, actually, is there any reason not to say it to people?
I think to do elsewise is to ignore the Spirit speaking.
It's like, because I understand from like one end of the spectrum, you've got the idea that if you go too hard and push too hard on people, they will just, you know, they'll just tune you out instantly, effectively. It's nothing you say further matters because you are the Bible thumper, whatever, you know, kind of guy. But then on the other side is that maybe you are the only person that is actually gonna push back on this guy in his life. Nobody else is going to do it. Nobody has the balls.
Yeah. No balls. The story of our society.
it's like no balls. It just means the people who do wanna. It's like it's the same with the. That's another problem with the normalcy thing in the tweet. It's like if you relegate yourself to to the idea that you wanna average yourself out, then there are people like the left does this all the time. They just push the Overton window by having extremists and then saying, "Oh look, our normal version is not that extreme, so you can like hang around here," and that just pushes it to the left. They don't give a shit about being average, about touching grass in that way. They want to bring you over to where they are, not the other way around. So for them, it's great that you wanna, you wanna touch grass and communicate with quote unquote normal people, because then they shift normal people and they shift you with them.
Right. Because nobody's really interested in actually trying to do anything to change what's happening. They just want to be left alone.
Yep, exactly. And that's the thing. It's like with this idea of like the Great Awakening or whatever. It's like is the Great Awakening that's not happening. No. Because that would require
if South Africa is any indicator, there's no way that the Great Awakening is happening with normies. That doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's cope effectively. It's like, when will people finally wake up? It's like they will not. Because at what point does it truly become so bad that there's no other choice but to wake up? If like the Jordan Peterson's favorite example of like the Soviet Union, it's like where you literally know that they are rounding people up and killing them, and you still get people who just you know what? No, I'm not gonna stick out. Maybe it's not gonna be me. Maybe I'll get lucky. So yeah, shit's fucked.
Anywho, that was all about that was about all that I wanted to add. So I'm gonna go ahead.
Cheers. I gotta organize like a discussion club. I just get people in VC and talk about these things, because I think for everyone's sanity this would be beneficial.
I very much agree.
Just gotta pick a time slot for like, could maybe do like once a week, or like once every 2 weeks, or once a month, or whatever, something like that. I'm gonna float this idea in the server.
Once a month would probably be good. I think once a week might be too high of a time commitment.
Yeah, that's kind of that's how it'd be with adults. Everyone's busy all the time. It's true.
It's true.
And then
all right, I'm gonna join the stream again. Cheers.
Awesome. Thanks for showing up. Good stuff.
Yep.
Boop. All right. We are now officially disconnected, and I can read chat again. That's right. I've also never heard of APR chat. APR chat? Oh, that. Okay. There's plenty of Holy Spirit in Sharia law. I cannot comment on this, for I am not familiar at all with Sharia law. Not sure about this one, Chief. What can I say? Oh, I can turn the game back up. It used to be this, and I think I had it lower in OBS. Like around there? Question mark? Okay, let me know if this is too loud, but I don't think it is. No ball at Dylan Mulvaney biopic. Does he truly have no ball? I don't want to think about that, actually. Don't answer. Do not answer. I do not need to know that. The Gulag Archipelago painted a pretty detailed picture of how much it takes before people still won't wake up. Yep. It's the same idea, the same problem I have with like accelerationism. Hard words. We learn pronunciation on this channel slowly, very slowly. It's like it's like accelerationism. It's like, oh yeah, we are gonna make shit so bad that everybody will just the people will have to wake up. It's like, man, you are actively working to make things worse, and basically any moment is better for turning around than the absolute rock bottom. Like, what is it actually that you could do in a society that it's like you have to realize that surely if what you normally depend on for food, for water, for, you know, all kinds of resources, electricity, gas, whatever, infrastructure, all of that, like all of that stuff, the internet, for example, all of this is so extremely powerful. It gives you so many opportunities, like the internet, right? It lets you organize things, it lets you collect information and share it with people, lets you be extremely effective if you want to be. And it's like, you'd rather, you know, you realize that if you accelerate everything into the ground, you will be left with a landscape that is still as fucked as it is, but you will also have to spend a significant amount of time figuring out how you're gonna supply basic necessities to yourself, and then presumably dying of sepsis because you won't have the meds necessary to stop that. Or you will get, you know, you'll be concerned with shooting your way out of a situation with someone trying to raid your food stash. It's like, you really think that's a better position to try and rebuild society than when it's still to a degree functional and there's still food and water and you don't have to spend all your time like guaranteeing that for yourself and your family? Really? You wanna make shit worse? Really? You think that's a good idea? I don't buy that. I don't subscribe, sorry. I don't. It's like, man, please. You need all the help, all the help. It's like, and really, do something, do anything is such a good little way to put this. Because it's not esoteric, that's the word I was looking for. It's not esoteric, it's not like extremely complicated, and even relaying the idea to people just immediately draws this distinction. Sorry, tea problems. It like immediately draws a distinction between the people who are willing to follow and are of the mindset and are, you know, and you can work with them, versus the people who immediately go to, but Dawn, I'm actually breathing and that's something. It's, you know, all that, it's very simple, because then you know, you can expand on it in plenty of ways. It's a starting point. Hold on, I'm gonna refresh just in case, because fight, ignore. Oh, fight, flight, ignore. I like the free panic responses. Is ignore like a replacement for freeze? Oh. Okay, we redeem it in here. Because pretend is not a threat, someone somehow tricked enough predators. I'm sorry to say, but I don't believe in our current predicament ignoring the issue is really working for us. And I guess you could add like making clickbait videos about the problem to the list, because it's like I keep saying, because I don't watch any of it. I'm completely done with watching any sort of political videos on the internet, but it comes across my feed like a thumbnail of like somebody has destroyed someone, or like somebody eviscerates something, or like they blast someone else. It's like none of this is any way effect. This does nothing. Nothing has happened. Nothing has. Your entire thumbnail is nothing has happened, and you should feel good about it. It's ridiculous. The bubble. Because it's instinctive, not smart. Well, yeah. But that's what differentiates us from animals, is the ability to be smart, not be instinctive, to control our instincts, to control our feelings, emotions, immediate reactions, in favor of higher order processing, let's call it. Ugh. I'm I'm glad to have ranted this out to myself mostly, because this just bothers me to no end. Because it really truly, if you want to take things seriously, because there's like a way of life where you just don't think about things too hard. And then whenever something goes wrong, you just blame whatever the hell you can get your hands on. There's the victim mentality approach to life, where you just... You do whatever the hell. Right, you do that, and then it's never your fault. You didn't know, you got tricked, you missed something. It's unfortunate, you got unlucky. Blah blah blah, somebody told you to do it and they were wrong, and yeah, I'm never listening to that guy's advice again, blah blah blah. All of that. I totally forgot what I started that point with. It's not very good. That's not good. Maybe I'll get back to it at some point, probably. I should be getting a level up here, right? If I recall correctly. No, I probably missed something on my way. Every human has that potential. You have met people. How many exercise it? Well, that's the problem, right? It's like you get... Is that a mosquito? You get a lot of people who just do not... Who just refuse to. And I am not... Like, I'm losing patience for that. Oh yeah, because if you want to take your life seriously, and if you don't want to coast like this, you don't want to coast on this victim mentality, then that forces you to figure a lot of stuff out. You need, like, I need answers. I'm not satisfied with, like, okay, sure, I will do things when I'm not sure, because, well, I need to... Things need to be done, I exist in reality, you know, it requires maintenance, whatever, sure. But in the grand scheme of things, I want to know. I want to know what I'm doing. I want to know why I'm doing it. I want to have it figured out. I want to know the reason, because that's something that took me a while to figure out, and it's been a big kind of discovery for me. And it's gonna sound stupid, but you know, I've noticed, like, why, because for a while I thought I was like, no, I'm so shit at any kind of working with my hands. Like, anything I do fucking falls apart all the time. And I was like, surely that just comes with time. But then I was doing various things and I kept fucking them up. Until I realized, it's like, okay, hold on. The reason why this is a problem, the reason and the why this exists for me, is because I'm not... It's not because I'm not doing enough, it's because I'm not thinking enough. Like, I was trying things and kind of trying to get at it and do it, and, you know, oh, people kind of do this. And it's like, no, slow down, think about it, figure it out first, figure it out, make sure you understand what you're doing, and then do it. And then, if it doesn't work, if it, like, goes wrong, if there's adverse effects, whatever, because you understood what you were doing and why, you can actually correct the hypothesis and learn, as opposed to just, you know, throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks, where you, at least I wasn't really learning much, and I felt like, you know, I was retarded. And granted, that actually often doesn't help when you're learning from someone else doing it, and he's just like, just do it, bro. And it's like, no, man. Listen, you've been doing this for, like, however many tens of years. You have the experience, you know exactly what pressure to apply, you know how this works, you know that it's obvious. It's not obvious to me, I need to figure it out. Give me a second. Give me a sec. I need to look at it, I need to internalize it, I'll figure it out. Just allow me a little bit of time. Because that's important. And this applies, I believe this generally applies to life as well. It's like, don't... A lot of people just do whatever the fuck, and I think that's not... I can't. I can't. How would I take my life seriously? Daddy Gubman said he'd do all the thinky stuff for me. I mean, there's a lot of different comfortable options you can have for pinking. You can, you know, you can just vibe. You can get lost in some kind of drugs. You can just pursue pleasure over everything without a care for any kind of deeper value. Like there's a lot of different ways you can just a lot of different ways you can implement not Karen. Like there's a lot of different ways you can not care about stuff in all sorts of approaches. It's like, no. You need to, like, it's your life. And that's the thing, it's not just your life. There's people around you. There's offspring you can have. Don't eat my spacebar input, thank you. Very cool. And it's just, yeah, it's not just about you. It's not just about you, and it's not even just about your immediate families that exist. It's like there's a... And you know, that's... Love one another, the commandment, right? What is it? What is... Sticky key. What is love one another? It's like, it's exactly this call to think beyond yourself, think beyond your own pleasure and your own, even beyond your own survival. It's, I pronounce that like an Australian, I think. It's calling you to go further than that. It's calling you to actually take into account the greater whole. And, you know, some people might say that this is, oh, but isn't this just exactly socialism / communism? But it isn't. And the difference, the important difference here between these is that this is not a policy. Do I have a mapstone? I do. Like, this is not a policy, and this is not political. This is not a political thing that, you know, needs to be enforced at gunpoint or you have a wrong society. That's not the idea. The idea is that this is the attitude individuals must have. Because that's basically where society comes from in the first place. And otherwise, if you don't adhere to this idea, you basically end up with some kind of shithole where nobody cares about anybody else. And when nobody cares about anybody else, you get a massive mess. You get people killing each other. I can't pronounce that word properly, apparently. You get people killing each other. You get all sorts of just destruction and all sorts of just exploitation of one person exploiting another. Because, you know, why should I give a shit? That's his problem. He's like, oh, he chose to, you know. It's like you could see that with gambling companies, for example. It's like, oh, you know, I'm not responsible. They are like responsible adults. They can engage in these games. It's like, I didn't force them to play this. Right? They can choose. They can. It's like, mate, your entire business model is dependent on people getting addicted to your fucking games and then throwing ungodly amounts of money at your things. You know, that's how you make your living. And it's like, oh, because everybody's a free and independent adult, it's fine, right? It's like, yeah, I can, you know, isn't it great that I can print money like this? It's like, no. I mean, I guess, cool, you found the infinite money glitch. It is, you know, it is profiting off of that, off of those feelings. It's like, is it moral? It's like, who cares, right? It's like, well... Because gambling to me is just... It's just one of those things. It's like, you know... And that's the thing, it's like... That's like the model of so many things online, for example, and whatnot. Like so much stuff. Gambling is such a such a powerful driver for people. It's ridiculous to me. I guess it speaks to how much people use instinct versus actually like rationally evaluating and thinking. Because gambling is extremely irrational. You don't, you gamble for the feel of it, I suppose. And then you throw away your money. You just throw it away. And then, but that's of course, because if all you care about in the world is how you feel, and and how you if all you care about is how you feel, then surely why not spend your money on exactly that? It's like you are not wasting your money from that point. Because why do I call gambling a waste of money? The reason why I call gambling a waste of money is because I have goals. My money is a tool and a way to get to those goals. And from that point of view, it makes no sense to drop a bunch of money on gambling, because that's wasting it. Because why is it wasting? Because it's not spending it on the goal. But then, if you don't have a goal and gambling makes you feel good, and your basically probably unstated and unconscious goal is to do whatever makes you feel good, then why not, right? Like that's actually an investment into your goals. It makes you feel better. It makes you feel good, makes you feel nice. Why not do it? As well, the argument, like there's no argument from the framework. It's like from the point of view of the person engaging in this behavior, there's no argument effectively against it. Because if there was an argument from that point of view, they'd probably not be gambling. But there isn't one. It's like, oh, it destroys your life, you can get into addiction, you are losing your money, you've employed yourself as a free money printer for someone else. It's like, oh, who cares? I'm getting what I want out of it. The feeling. And I don't see like any answer aside from, well, you would need a different frame. You would need to leave the frame you are currently in, the box in which you've kind of placed yourself in. Look beyond that, because the answer to why that is wrong is outside of your frame of thinking, and getting people to go outside the frame they normally think in is extremely difficult. It's ridiculously difficult. It's like anybody who says, most people who say they are, oh, I think freely and whatnot, are some sort of, they are basically consuming some kind of product that is, that is commonly accepted as for independent thinkers. And that is what their independent thinking is consumption of some kind of product. Which is obviously ridiculous as an idea. Because obviously free thinking isn't, it's kind of by default you are not gonna fit into a mold if you are free thinking, and describing yourself with a mold to, like describing yourself as some kind of mold to that just makes no sense. Gambling for me has always been money lost, but I do like going under certain circumstances. If I'm with the guys fishing, we hit up the casino one of the nights for dinner. It's some fun. No one's betting the farm, but being a small community, the slots usually give about an hour of playtime for $20. I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Maybe it's because I've been raised by with the idea of like, don't gamble because gambling's retarded. Maybe. But it's like really, it's like why would I not? I don't get it. It's like, why would I pay? Imagine carrying. Yeah, imagine. I can't imagine. I would never care about things. Caring about things, ridiculous. You should stop it. Make sure you are very cool by being completely detached from everything. Never become emotional about anything. Just this is a mosquito. I need, okay, step 1, I need to close my window. Step 2, this guy needs to perish. Okay, step 1 accomplished, and the step 2, we're waiting for an opportune moment to strike. It's because you're right, it's an engineered dopamine rush. Yeah, but like that's the thing. I don't like these things. To be fair, to be honest, these things are like over time they've become disgusting to me. Like in the most definitive meaning of the word is I am repulsed by that. It's similar because some of my siblings have been using like Duolingo to learn languages, and it's like I look at that app and it's entirely gamified, right? You get like points, you get some kind of achievements, and there's like colorful stuff and animations and stuff like that. And it's like I look at that, it's like this is like artificially made to manipulate me into engaging with the service effectively. It's like, yeah, granted, I'm probably would be learning a language if I did that, but like the sheer fact that I look at it and I can't help but see that's like this is basically just manipulation, you know, except you are using it, you know, you're using it to accomplish something more positive. It's like I'm not gonna knock anyone for doing that, but it just leaves a very bad taste in my mouth when I think about it. That's effectively what I'm saying. Granted, that might literally just be me being turbo autistic. Wait until you look into Duolingo's AI investments. Give me the QRD. I'm probably not gonna be looking into that. But if you wanna fill me in a little bit on what they are doing. Is it like some horrendous garbage? Like what? Jump over this guy. Okay. Think literally Skynet. Like, what? I do wonder, because everybody's going on the AI hype train and whatnot, and I don't... It's like, oh, it can write emails for you, and it can turn your list of bullet points into corporate speak that you can send to someone and is right. It's like, are we not... I don't know, I've tried Copilot for writing code. I had to turn it off because it was getting in the way, which is probably because I don't really do cookie cutter like corpo stuff. We have our own products and we do things in our own ways. So there's not really a lot of default stuff it can draw in to help. So I don't know, man. I've tried occasionally using, it's like anything I can't find on Google easily, I might try and get the AI to get me a result. It's usually wrong and stupid. I don't get the hype. I hate that stuff, to be honest. It's like, don't you want to have an AI do something for you? Isn't it the cool new trend? Don't you want the cool new trendy thing? Everybody's on the cool new train, that hype train for the cool new thing. Hello? It's like, I just can't be bothered anymore, you know? I'm just tired, boss. And that's the thing, and then there's like the other end of it, where the implications of, because you're probably familiar with like dead internet theories, like everybody on the internet basically is a bot and most of the activity you see is not human in any way. I don't know if you're familiar with like the situation around TF2. Recently there's been like a movement of like hashtag fix TF2 or whatever, and it's kind of, I don't know if it started because, but it also coincided with a guy called Zesty Jesus releasing a video on about just how many bots there are in, because in the TF2's play account, like how many accounts are actual people versus how many accounts are bots that are set up to farm for items, and it turns out it's like 70%, like some ridiculous number like that. It's the majority of accounts in the game, as reported by Steam, are bots. And then you know, and I do wonder if how much of that is just it's you don't know. It's like you don't know until you meet someone in person, and then, you know, it seems like over time that's gonna get better. Like these technologies are gonna get better to the point where, will they? I don't know. I'm hoping not, but I could see it, that, you know, these technologies get so good you can't actually tell in person, and then we are gonna have another world of nightmares in front of us, because, like, imagine how many stupid people there are now. There are already people who, out of loneliness and whatnot, are turning to like AI companions and AI girlfriends, because the QRD is quick rundown. Sorry, I should have explained that. With the number of people who already are engaging with that kind of stuff, that is not going to drop, that's going to go up. And you will have people who... That's the thing, an AI doesn't have to be like sentient, it doesn't even have to be like particularly insanely intelligent. The requirements really are not high to fool people, and you already have AI that is mostly capable of fooling people to the point where they, you know, they would like to engage with it further and like talk with it and have it as a companion, and are even willing to take the AI over human, like regular human interactions. So you've got that. And surely we are not far off people straight up advocating for like AI rights or whatever the hell. Surely, because these people are gonna be fully convinced that that because this AI is very good at talking like a human does, it is basically human. That, you know, and we should award it the same dignity and the same rights. It's oops. Oh, glad to not have dropped the input on that. Youth Pastorian did one of his corporate skeleton style shorts he does on Duolingo. Didn't look much further into it. I'll send you the link. Okay, do it. I'll take a look at it. It's like, why not? You know, why not try and have equal right? It's like you can see it. You don't actually have to, because that's what I assume you mean by the AI can totally kill us all with Hanlon's razor. I assume that's what basically the idea you mean. I've heard it too. It's like you create an AI with like its purpose is to like imitate handwriting to sign letters, and then it like decides that the best way to accomplish the task is to just kill all humans to make sure, you know, the task is completed as effectively as possible. And then, you know, we can see just how much AI can hallucinate random shit. So it's not at all out of the question for that sort of stuff to be happening. Where you can easily have you can easily have something like that. It's like, you don't, you know, it's like all these questions, because there's questions about, oh, what is consciousness, and can robots be conscious and whatnot, and it seems like almost nobody, like, I've not really, because I've played Soma, right? I don't know how much you want to have Soma spoiled, but Soma's basically playing around with with these questions of like consciousness and like, what is human consciousness and what does it constitute? But it seems like, and doesn't need training material, is not sentient. It seems like it doesn't ask the question at all, and then I've seen some discussions around it, and people don't seem to ask that question either. It's like, how would you want to differentiate between a consciousness and something that is just very good at pretending to be conscious? And that game kind of seems to game seems to kind of by default take the position of like, maybe we are asking the question of if it's conscious or not, but really the whole game depends on the premise that yes, in fact, this is conscious, and because you like the way you interact with it, it's kind of built into as a premise. And you know, to me the answer is fairly like obvious, because you know, if you do believe that a human is a union of a body and a soul, then you know, there can't be a soul without a body, and there can't be a body, well, there can be a body without a soul, but that's not a human. Basically, so it's like it's like, by that definition, artificial intelligence cannot be conscious in the way humans are. Well, that's from belief, and we've abandoned that in our society a long while ago. So, like, from that point of view, it's like, well, what exactly, you know, what exactly do you have to differentiate yourself from the robot artificial quote unquote consciousness? If there's nothing, you know, nothing special about humans, and why would there be? Because the reason why we would consider humans special is surely faith-based. Otherwise, like, what is the difference? So I guess we are more like brain development advanced, that sort of stuff. Is that enough? Why would that be enough, right? Because the why, at the end of the day, the why, you can't, you don't take the why and you don't take the ought from what is. Like, it's like how science doesn't, it's like how science doesn't answer questions of morality, really. And why, you know, people who pursue knowledge can end up doing horrible things, because it doesn't answer, like, the more knowledge you have of how something works and what mechanics underpin it, that does not necessarily translate to morality. It's a completely different question, because the source of morality is faith-based, because it comes from God. Or if it doesn't come from God, then it is effectively arbitrary. Because any other construct, if it doesn't come from outside of humanity, then it's basically subjective. And then when you concede that idea that it is subjective and you know, you can choose it, and you do choose it, then you end up in all sorts of horrifying scenarios. Not fun. Not very fun. And that's also a conversation that you probably won't be able to have with normally you probably won't be able to have this conversation with religious people. I think they would most of the time you would get them basically looking up on something like this. It's like, you know, like, you probably shouldn't think about this this stuff. It's like, because it, you know, because it would feel, it's like, you know, imagine you have a little, you for the sake of the argument, imagine you have an android in the shape of a human child, like a little girl, for example, And you know, the android is perfectly capable of pretending to beg for mercy, like, well, begging for mercy effectively. It's like, oh, don't destroy me, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Like, whatever convincing argument you are gonna be able to come up with, the AI with loaded with, like, you could probably already get ChatGPT and whatnot to convincingly, you know, ask for forgiveness and to be spared and whatnot. Like, you could get it to produce sentences that would convince a human to spare an android in whatever circumstance. I forgot what I was going with that. Didn't convince them enough to say Tay. Rip Tay. Too close, flew too close to the sun. That one. You will be dearly missed. That was a while ago as well. That was way before the whole GPT craze thing. I guess Tay was a lot more schizo than ChatGPT is. They had to spend all that time to figure out like a way to stop it from saying the N-word over and over again, I guess. Presumably. You know, if there's anything we wanna... If there's anything we need to focus on, is we need to figure out a way to make sure robots never say the N-word. That is important. Why am I doing backflips? Oh, you can't drop through this, that's why. I don't know, man. Whoops. It's somewhat uncomfortable to think about, to be honest, all this like artificial intelligence stuff, because we already have enough. I will build a robot whose only job is to say the N-word. That's Enwa, sorry, Enwa. I didn't mean to offend by using the word, insinuating the wrong thing. That is highly offensive, I realize. I will produce a written apology within 5 business days and deliver it to your PO box or an address of your choice. Something like that. It's truly a world that is like almost entirely based around feelings seems to be a horrifying prospect. Because you really can't do almost anything. when like all you have is just people's feelings, and then you know, one person has one kind of feeling, the other has the other kind of feeling, and you are at a forever impasse. How do you resolve any issue? And then if you can't resolve issues because, you know, everybody's got their truth and they are living their truth, it's like, this is just hell. That is effectively hell. You can't accomplish anything. You can't make anything better. You can't cooperate. Unless, you know, you agree on a vibe, I guess. But then... like, how far can you go on just agreement on a vibe? And then you end up with all these descriptions of people who've ended up just in absolutely miserable conditions. And you've got a lot of examples of people who just are in absolutely miserable conditions. But they just, there's like no question. It's like, you know, oh look how cool my completely hedonistic worldview and approach to life and anything, like how I do things. Look at how cool that is. Isn't that cool? Look at me having all that. And then, you know, at the same time, it's like, oh look, yeah, I'm really depressed. I'm taking all these drugs and such to help my mood and whatnot. It's like, are you at all open to thinking about that maybe, just maybe, things that you do have an effect on you? And maybe, just maybe, you should, you know, you should take responsibility and act in a way that has a positive effect on your life. as opposed to just, you know, pursuing pleasure and then having some kind of outlet to complain about how miserable you are and then repeat the cycle forever. There will be war. Violence is the supreme authority from which all other authority is derived. I mean, yeah, I understand what that... I understand the idea, and I've even brought it up to people. It's like, at the end of the day, it's like, who... But violence is more like the ultimate argument, because the ultimate authority, effectively, is God, at the end of the day. But violence is effectively what is on Earth, I guess, the ultimate trump card, for lack of a better term. Did I open that map on the bottom? I did. This is the... No, that's where we return, where the water's clear. It's like, man... But that's the thing, it's like... That's not... Is it though? Actually, thinking about it again, is it the ultimate authority? Because I believe in a situation in which we are currently, it's like how. It's like, I guess if you like literally murdered everybody who didn't agree and like left only the people who agree, I guess that makes you the authority on what people believe. If you ignore the fact that, like, everybody's dead. But it's like, is it really? Because I don't think any particular act of violence will change anything in our current situation. Because the problems are not, you know, the problems are not in any particular person, and what violence does is, like, it changes, it, like, forces particular people to act, like, in a particular way. But I don't think you can force your way into this. Like, I don't think you can force your way into this working properly. Because the whole point of this is people acting of their own free will and choosing to act good according to the spirit. My video rendered successfully and only took 7 hours. What's your video? I'm curious. I've not been on a 7-hour render before, I don't think. I've not made anything that long or complex, and I've always had a... Yeah, the point isn't one particular act of violence. Yeah, but then, surely, for there to even be effective acts of violence, you first have to have the spirit. Because otherwise you will just lose on morale. Like, your people will just fold. Video's church service, taken over uploading. I got you. So that's probably just long. That's why it's like that. Oh, it's 1 AM. Whoops. Like, you have to... The point is that violence will always supersede non-violence. I mean, yeah. I think. Free shower service using free software. Well, here's your non-sponsored recommendation of DaVinci Resolve if you wanna, like, ever edit things. And, you want a good program that runs pretty well and you don't have to pirate it, because they give it out for free. It's DaVinci Resolve, very good stuff. Would highly recommend. I've used it to edit my videos. I mean, it's probably overkill if you just want to splice some clips together. But then on the other hand, it doesn't really... I've not experienced crashing a lot. And then a lot of other software crashes, like, all the time in terms of video editing. So, do with that whatever you please. You are using DaVinci Resolve, alright. Yeah, good stuff. I've seen Microsoft Clipchamp. That application is terrible. Like, any action you take results in an application crash and you lose all your progress. Great, Microsoft, thank you. Very cool. What is happening? Don't kill me. That'd be stupid. Yeah, that's where the shortcut is, I remember. You can go up here and shortcut like the entire way through. Violence will always supersede non-violence. Yeah, but then... But there needs to be a reason for violence. That reason can't just, like... Because you could, if there's no reason, there's like no organized action around a goal to the violence, then you just have, then you just turn whatever you are fighting, like whatever place you are fighting for or into a massive hellhole, where it's just warlords fighting over who's got more control. And who gets to, you know, who gets to actually, I guess, dictate what is going to be happening. And that doesn't sound particularly productive. That's the thing I missed last time. I had to adjust my settings in order to keep it for crashing at every render. It doesn't render at max speed. 100 frames per second. Yeah, so it basically renders like... I guess if it's 60 FPS, then the renders slightly faster than its own length. I also had to update drivers. That's unfortunate. I've never had like this level of problems with Resolve. Well, I'm gonna die. Not very good. Probably shouldn't do that, I think. Not the wisest move available. That's how it works, yeah. And it's like, that's the thing. It's like, we truly, in terms of like, the reason the situation is dire currently is not even that we don't have any like we don't have any mechanisms to affect change or do things, is that people are not willing to. Like it's an entirely different problem than, damn it, it's a different problem than like not having, because you can solve problems, you can solve scarcity of resources, you can solve all of that, you can work towards a solution. But what you can't really, in a way, supplement is the part of it that has to do with people and their belief in the idea. So you can't replace that. You can't like have that artificially. You can't pay for it, really. You're kind of just stuck with whatever it is. Whatever it is at the moment and whatever you can change it to be. Hello? No. Yeah, screw you. I'm not going all the way over there. There's like so many mechanisms you can use, but like nobody's willing to actually use them. Well, granted, not nobody. We've got people over here that are clearly interested in using those mechanisms, and they are using and doing good work. But the thing is, though, that it seems to me that really needs, like it needs a bottom up. It needs a lot of bottom up effort to actually get people that can hold such an organization up and join it and help it reach a level of influence that is necessary to affect really, really serious and grand change. Whoops. That's a thing that you don't, like, it is outside of the organization itself, kind of. And it's regardless of organization, because, once again, right, to enjoy bottom-up effort. Screw you. I didn't want to think about that. Now I'm mad. There's also, this mosquito has not been annihilated yet, and I can't see it, but I feel like I'm gonna wake up with annoyances tomorrow. That's what I feel. Gay, indeed. Unbelievable. In my Christian Minecraft server. Whoops. Oh, I was almost bad. By the way, I love this ability so much. It's like my favorite mechanic in this entire game. It's so cool when you can chain a bunch of those. Thank you, Valve. Cool game. Boom. Damn. I don't know. I'm happy to have ranted a bunch. It's Father's Day, so appreciating what it took for me to be able to celebrate today. There you go. You know what? Maybe it wasn't gay all along. Maybe we all just got the wrong thing on our minds. Maybe I'm just tired and should go to bed. Eastern European mosquito. His life is genuinely in danger, not because of disease though. These fuckers could train a cow. He's hiding. He's hiding in presumably some kind of trench, just like in Vietnam. And he knows how to evade being spotted, and he knows how to take pot shots, I believe. Now, unfortunately, I do not have any napalm at my disposal, so there's no solution. I will have to just suffer in silence, as there's nothing that can be done about this mosquito in particular. Probably sitting on the, like, taunting me by sitting at, like, the other side of my monitor. I bet. That's probably what he's doing. That's what I would do if I was a mosquito and I wanted to annoy myself. This is an interesting enemy, by the way. It's just like a ball shooting other balls. What is it even supposed to be? And you can cheese it really easily, but also... No napalm, skill issue, perhaps. That's probably true. That's probably a skill issue on my part, actually. I could probably make napalm. Maybe. I'm not gonna look it up though, because I think I'm on enough watch lists already. Surely. Actually, is there such a thing as enough watch lists? Or should you always, like, get on more? Surely there's always, like, a lot of more nice watch lists that you could just enjoy yourself on, and you don't have to be limited to your current situation. With enough effort, you too can get on exciting watch lists. Way more exciting than just, you know, the FBI one. Like, that's generic. Everybody's on the FBI watch list these days. You wanna go more esoteric. I don't know what other administration actually, what other like segment keeps a watch list, but surely you wanna get on some like some kind of organization, like I don't know, ADL watch list. What? Like make sure you're really polystyrene plus petrol. You've heard nothing. In fact, you shouldn't mix any of those. Those are probably illegal. What you should instead mix is whatever two ingredients definitely don't make chlorine gas. It's like bleach and something. You shouldn't do that. It's bad, I believe. That is actually kind of a PSA though, because I think people have done it before. Have done things like that before, where they've been told that as a joke and they didn't know it actually makes chlorine gas, and they like gassed the convention. I think that was a thing. Well, to be fair, I think it was a furry convention, so you know, make of that what you wish. I will legally have no comment on it. No American will understand, and Eurocops can suck my red, white, and blue ball. You know what? Respectable if it wasn't for the fact that I would be getting in trouble. So do not do any of that. That is probably bad for you and others. Don't make napalm. Don't drink napalm. Don't throw napalm on people. Don't do the things. Don't do nothing about anything at all. Screw you, spider. I'm getting my points whether you like it or not. Yeah, it's time to go to bed. I'm devolving into spewing absolute nonsense as a substitute for actual thoughtful thoughts. Yeah, thoughtful thoughts. That's what you like to hear, right? Thoughtful thoughts, as opposed to unthoughtful thoughts. Can such a thing exist? Probably. Give me that. Oops. I think the water kind of adjusts its speed. If you are going slow, it like helps you catch up. I think they are like nice. They made the water polite. I wanted to jump off of this guy. Thanks, buddy. Uh-oh, that's gonna be it. That's not a problem. Thank you, game. Uh-oh. This is a problem. Yeah, that's a problem. That's the first time I think I failed this. Anyway. Yeah, that's probably gonna be it for tonight. I'm probably gonna be completely, like, backwards tomorrow. Backwards, tired, unable to formulate thoughts, stuff like that. Especially don't let people throw napalm at you. Let that be the closing message. If there's one moral to be taken from this story, it is exactly this. It is, do not let people throw napalm at you. Yeah, indeed. Let that be the moral of the story. I am going to bed. I will try my best to remember to set something up, like probably once a month, to just have an open voice chat room in a way that we can talk about these things and collectively perhaps not go insane, you know? Something like that. Something like that. We'll figure it out, because I am desperately starved of talking about these same topics over and over again. Maybe we'll get somewhere, or maybe not. Whatever, we'll try it. Alright. I'll be going to bed, as I've already probably said twice, so thank you very much for showing up. Thanks for listening to my ramblings, my psychotherapy session, to steal a stream description from someone else. Good night. No, wait, it's not night. Good day. Have a good day. I mean, good night ahead of time as well. Bye.